Friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you some exciting new plants that I'm adding to my garden. I guess you can call it a plant haul video, but I just wanted to show you what's in my plant stash. I've been collecting some of these plants over time, and I want to take some time to share with you these new plants and why I picked them, and where I'm thinking of adding them in my garden. So I don't know if I'm gonna get all of them in the ground today, but I wanted to share with you the details on these plants so that you know what these plants are, and I will share videos with you later on where these plants are going to go in my garden, and maybe even show you once I have them in my garden, because I do plan to rearrange couple of beds in my backyard and add some changes to them. So I kind of wanted to probably use most, if not all of them, for that purpose. So the first plant that I got was this beautiful scabiosa. I already have some of these in my garden, and you can tell that I love them, so I always look for ways to incorporate more of these in the garden. Why I love these blooms is the color is outstanding. It really sparkles and shines against anything you may have in your garden. Those of you who are joining me for the first time, or you haven't watched any videos from me, I garden in zone 6 in Toronto, so we have fairly cold winters, and this plant does really well for us. It is hardy, I think, up to zones 4, and it is a beautiful perennial, forms a clump, and it stays pretty short. This one doesn't have a lot of detail on it, but this variety is called scabiosa columbaria. So this one is called butterfly blue, and it's also called the pincushion flower, and it is actually quite long blooming. It blooms all summer pretty much, and you can grow this in full or part sun, but it will do much better if it receives full sun. And it grows about 16 to 18 inches tall and 12 to 14 inches wide, and it's going to bloom in spring, summer, and fall. So it is a long blooming lavender blue flowers that attract butterflies to borders and rock gardens. So many reasons I love this plant is because of its bloom time as well as the beauty. You just have to keep deadheading them, and even if you don't, they still keep pushing out new blooms. As you can see, this plant is like covered in buds all over. So I have a couple of these that I will tuck into a border here and there, and I'm excited to add these in my garden. So the next one that I have is an agastachi or agastache, or also known as hummingbird mint. So I have this variety in my front garden bed, which I planted last year, and I really enjoyed it because it literally, once it starts blooming, it will keep blooming all summer, and it attracts pollinators a lot. Lots of butterflies, lots of bees. If you want those in your garden, this is a really good plant to add. This variety is called Kudos Coral, and it's a dwarf hummingbird mint, so it doesn't get very tall, and it loves full sun, and it blooms in summer and fall. So it'll start blooming early summer, and it'll keep going. So one of the several recent hybrid selections. It's an excellent workhorse in the garden. It flowers non-stop from midsummer through early autumn, easy to grow. It forms a low bushy mound bearing upright spikes of warm coral colored plumes with a sweet honey mint fragrance. It's great in containers or in a mixed border. Must have excellent drainage, particularly during winter. And again, it gets 16 to 18 inches tall and around 14 to 16 inches wide, and it's hardy till zones 5. So needs 5 to 9, and it needs well-drained soil, not rich or wet. So again, beautiful color on this. I love this corally pink color, and when it's covered in these blooms, it just looks really pretty. And then the other plant that I got, which is a type of a penstemon, And I absolutely love these two plants and the colors that they're adding. So the blooms on this penstemon, let me just show them to you before I share specifics on the plant. Aren't they so gorgeous? They have a deep, almost cranberry, raspberry pink, and it's got a white throat and it's beautiful. So this is going to be an excellent plant to attract hummingbirds in your garden. So this particular variety is called Penstemon Mission Bells Deep Rose. So bees will love this, and it's also a summer and fall blooming plant. So it'll do really well with the hummingbird mint because they will bloom around the same time. So this hybrid beard tongue is the showiest variety by far, putting on a terrific display of color in the summer and fall months. Plants form a bushy upright mound bearing numerous spikes of deep rose tubular flowers with contrasting white throats on dark stems. Excellent in pots and tubs, attractive to both butterflies and hummingbirds. So again, it's hardy up to zones 5 to 9, and it's going to get about a bit taller than the agastachi. This is going to be 20 to 30 inches tall and 16 to 18 inches wide. So again, it also needs similar conditions, well-drained, gravelly kind of soil. So I love these two plants together, and I think I'm going to find a spot where I can put them in together. And I love how this purple kind of just complements with these corals. It's gorgeous. And so the other plant that I got, this is actually a shrub. This is a hydrangea, which I got as well. And this one is called the Invincible Spirit 2 Smooth Hydrangea. I do not have smooth hydrangeas in my garden. I don't have the Incredible. So this is kind of like the Incredible, but the pink version of it. So Invincible Spirit 2 has rich pink flowers that bloom on strong stems from midsummer to frost. This hardy, reliable hydrangea blooms even after the harshest winters because it blooms on entirely new growth. So you can cut this plant down to about 6 inches in late winter, early spring, and it is going to flush back new growth and bloom for you. And it can grow in sun or part shade. It's hardy up to USDA zones 3 to 9, and it is going to get about 3 to 4 feet tall and wide, and it's going to bloom from early summer to fall, and it is low in deer resistance. So again, this hydrangea I particularly picked is because proceeds like $1 from each shrub you buy goes towards breast cancer research, and I kind of wanted to add this plant because I've lost many dear family members to cancer, and I thought it would be a good way for me to kind of add this plant and also add to a good cause. And also whenever this blooms, it will kind of remind me of especially my dad, who passed away from cancer. So I think it's a beautiful shrub. I will find a special spot for it, and it already has a lot of buds on it, so I'm really excited to have this plant in my garden. And I also have a couple of other proven winners perennials. These are the pink profusion salvia. So this one is again by proven winners. It's pink profusion. It has pink blooms, and they will bloom throughout summer and rebloom, and it is easy to grow in any climate in full sun. It's drought tolerant, and cut back after flowering to promote growth. So it'll get about 14 to 16 inches tall, 16 to 20 inches wide, and it prefers full sun, and it's hardy in zones 3 to 8. It's going to bloom late spring to early summer. So this is the pink profusion salvia by proven winners, and this one is, I think, almost done blooming, so it probably needs a good cut back, and it'll rebloom again later on in the season. So the other plants that I have is I have a couple of these backlight luminary phlox. So this one is also has pure white flowers that produce well-defined panicles on top of dark green leaves. It's great for disease resistance even in hot, humid conditions. So again, it's a good plant to add for summer blooming flowers. So it's going to bloom mid to late summer, and it's going to get about a little shy of 3 feet tall, and it's going to be hardy from zones 3 to 8, and it does best in full sun. Although I have also grown phlox in part shade and it can survive, but you'll get the best blooms and a much more healthy and bushier plant if you give it a lot of sun. So I have a couple of these plants, and I also have 2 other varieties of phlox which I'll share with you. So this one is called Sugar Kapow Pink Garden Phlox. So again, this one is going to be also full sun, a little shorter than the proven winners variety, about 18 to 20 inches tall, 16 to 18 inches wide, and hardy up to zones 4B to 9A. And it is got supersized blooms in striking colors, abundance of flowers throughout summer. So it's a summer blooming perennial. And I also have a very similar one, which is not in the best shape, but I will still try to rescue it. It's also called Super Kapow Coral. So this one has coral pink flowers on compact green foliage, and it's also a prolific bloomer. So again, these are the 2 phlox that I'm adding. And I also have a couple plants of this beautiful speedwell called Very Van Gogh. So this is spike speedwell. It is masses of rosy purple flower spikes, bright green foliage on an upright habit, and secondary flowers extend the bloom time. So blooms heaviest in full sun, and removing the spent flowers promote rebloom, and it tolerates most soil types. I love veronica because it's very long blooming. It's going to bloom midsummer to late summer into late summer, and it's going to get about 18 to 20 inches tall and 20 to 24 inches wide. So it's going to form a good sized clump, and it needs more than 4 hours of daily sun, and hardy in zones 4 to 8. So this is the Very Van Gogh Spike Speedwell. I love this color. It's gorgeous. And then I also have this beautiful rose here. This one is called Also Easy Double Pink. Love the color on this one. Gorgeous pink double bloom. And this one is a shrub rose. It's known for its continuous blooms, disease resistance, and looking at an easy care plant. Produces full flowers atop deep green disease resistance foliage all summer, and it is hardy up to zones 5 to 9, and it's going to get about half a meter tall and wide, and it's going to be best in full sun, and it's going to bloom in spring, early summer into fall. So beautiful color. I love the color on this, and I wanted to add an easy rose shrub to my backyard garden because I don't really have time to kind of put in any kind of a fussy plant in the back that's going to require a lot of care. So this is going to be a perfect little plant to add in that corner there. And then I have some ajuga, which I'm also adding. So I have a couple of varieties of ajuga. So this one is called Noble Nightingale. And this will get 6 inches tall, and it's going to bloom in late spring in a blue azul color, and it can grow in sun, part shade. So I'm trying to add a lot more ajuga as ground cover in my garden. So as and when I get some ajuga, I try to add it in different spots. And I like this variety because it has very thin and delicate leaves, which I thought were very interesting. And this is the other color that I got. So this is a different coloration. So this one is called Petite Parakeet. So this is got beautiful lime chartreuse green leaves, and it's got the same bloom time as the other one, and I'll probably intermingle it somewhere. I have one of this color and 2 dark ones to add. So those are the ground cover ajugas that I got. And then I have a couple of coreopsis and dianthus plants that I'm also adding. I'll share those with you as well. So I have this beautiful coreopsis here. This is called Domino, I believe. Yes, it's called Domino. coreopsis, and this is also a full sun perennial. And I love coreopsis because they have a long blooming period in summer, and they keep going as long as you keep deadheading, and even if you don't, they keep flowering. So excellent compact selection of a garden favorite. Yellow daisy-like flowers have a dark orange markings around the center of the bloom, and they get about 18 inches tall, and they bloom in summer, and they need full sun, and it's hardy up to zones 3. So I have this beautiful coreopsis called Domino. And then I have a variety of dianthus, which is called red grenadine hardy carnation. So this is also a full sun perennial. It is a low mound of grassy gray-green leaves are topped with fully double deep red blooms that emit a spicy clove-like fragrance, which is amazing, and it's ideal for borders or containers or massed in accent. And then this is again going to get 16 to 20 inches tall, and it's going to bloom early summer into fall, and it needs full sun, and it's hardy up to zones 3. It is a beautiful red color. Actually, on the picture it's quite a bit dark, but I see one bud about to open, and it's significantly bright. So I love this color. I like you know, all of these summer blooming flowers. They're going to be amazing in the garden. And then I also have a delphinium that I'm adding. I don't know the variety because there was no label on it, but it has beautiful blue colored blooms, and it's tall, and I will be adding it somewhere in my garden. Delphiniums also bloom in midsummer to late summer, and they also are quite long blooming in the summer. And then I also have a couple of Japanese forest grass. This is an all gold variety. I have a few of these already in my garden, and I'm adding this to my shade garden as well. And these are very good for the shade, and they add a nice pop of color with their you know, yellow and green foliage. It's a beautiful plant for the shade. And then it's a ornamental grass. So if you're looking for a grass for shade, do consider Hakanakloa all gold. This is the all gold variety. It's also called Japanese forest grass. And the last plant that I wanted to share with you is this beautiful plant called Lady's Mantle. This is a beautiful spring, kind of early summer, late spring, early summer bloomer. It has beautiful light yellow blooms, and what's interesting about this plant is it can grow in part shade to shade, and when the rain falls, it collects on these leaves, and it looks really pretty. So I already have one of these plants in my shade garden, and I wanted to add another one to my shade garden. Extremely versatile plant. It's really good. It's almost like coral bells but hardier, and it's going to kind of form like a low mound, and beautiful blooms of yellow that add a bright kind of pop in the shade garden. And look how nice it looks against the Hakanakloa grass. So that's it. These are all the plants that I have in my plant stash that I will be over the next week or two adding it to my garden in different spots. And I just wanted to take you along and show you these plants today and talk about them a little bit so that you get ideas for summer blooming perennials that you can add to your garden. All of these are summer blooming perennials except for the ajuga. They will bloom throughout summer and attract lots and lots of pollinators in your garden, and I just love them all so much, and I can't wait to get them in my garden. So with that, I wanted to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everyone is having a fabulous gardening day, and if you're new, do consider subscribing to my channel. I post about all things gardening and plants and ideas for the garden, and I hope you will join me and my garden and tours that I put out from my garden, so that I can share with you what my garden is doing and what plants I am experiencing or ideas that I'm coming up with. So with that, thanks again, and I will see you in my next video.